Howdy, howdy. So testing a couple things on this new setup here. This mic. So I got this mic. Um, it was recommended by a friend of mine, Izaz Miguel. I used to work with him. Sorry. So yeah, I used to work with him used to work with him previously. Oh, thank you guys for the like, or for whoever did that. Thank you for the like. Appreciate it. Um, just kind of want to go through some of the things I'm doing now. One of the things is starting to pick up a new programming language. So trying to learn Go. It's actually a really short book. The JavaScript book is it's probably about twice as thick as this. So this is okay. So I'm reading through this. I'm currently on page 31. I am not a big reader. I do not like reading books. Dave Tao, what's up, brother? Hope everything's good with you. Keanu, what's up, brother? I hope everything's good with you, man. Um, but yeah, I'm not a big reader of like books. It's just boring to me and things like that. So I will be, watching some Udemy courses and stuff like that. Oh, you're learning SQL. You're learning Squeal. Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't say I've. Yeah. Okay. So I was about to say like, you don't ever have to like learn Squeal unless you're doing some crazy stuff. The biggest thing is like how to aggregate data from multiple tables and stuff like that. That's kind of the biggest thing that I've seen with Squeal. I'm trying to get everything right, by the way. Sorry. Alvin brought me here. Alvin. Oh yeah, Alvin Hollinger. Yeah, yeah. AH3. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's my boy, man. We're in like a couple different groups and stuff. I am. Let me fix a couple things too. So one is stuff like this. Okay. So I work with this after the last stream. Still smashing hoes, indeed, indeed. I got this one chick. She's cool. Um, just dealing with her. Older chick. She's nice though. Select select star from users where clue is greater than zero. Yes, that is a simple command. So I started making these things here after the last stream. Hopefully the audio is coming in well. I got this little ear boom here, mic, for when I move around and stuff. I kind of want it like maybe closer to the face, but I'm not sure how that works because you don't when you see them like I'm doing a fucking TED talk here. Nah, I haven't tricked in a while, man. I haven't tricked in a while. Getting rusty, but nah, man. That's stuff you go it's just on and off. It's on and off. Like you don't want to do that shit all the time, of course. But yeah, I'm learning Go. I spent some time at a library yesterday, and I want to learn a little bit more about the Go programming language. So we're gonna have a little Go guy here. I'm trying to get this working here for chat. So let's see here. Normal. Hey, okay, okay, cool. So one thing that that wasn't something that I wanted to see is the chats on the screen. I'm using Ecamm Live. It's for Mac only. Still holding crypto? No, I've gotten rid of most of my crypto. I'm gonna start getting back into it. I've kind of been trying to restructure what I'm doing for investments. So really going heavy on my 401k, fully funding that for the year. Alonzo Hall, the All-Star advisor, shout outs to him, got me signed up with an IUL or Index Universal Life policy. With that policy, I was having problems with getting the first draft done, like taking it out of my account. So that's been resolved. But that is a pretty nice thing, I think. And really, my focus, like kind of like dealing with what thinking about what I want to do, and my main focus is just I want to have something for my retirement. I want to have at least 1 to 2 nice vehicles. I want to have a lot of things done here around the house already. and be able to pay any like upkeep costs, and then of course medical expenses in the long run. So I have an HSA that I do not use. I pay everything out of pocket. And then I have some discount cards and stuff like that for prescriptions and all that. So that's been working out fairly well, where I haven't had to touch my HSA, and I have probably about seven, getting close to 8 grand in there. So been funding that. All right, so let's get this here. I'm trying to get. Uh, I'm trying to get capacity. Oh, okay, that'd be kind of cool. Overlay. I'm trying to get where you guys can see it. MGTOW Universe, what's up, brother? Appreciate you joining the stream, man. Appreciate you. I saw some of the work you were doing with Concrete Rose and them folks. I think it was an old video. Coffee money and tech for me. Yeah, well, coffee money. Yeah, my biggest thing is really focusing on retirement. Moving forward. So doing things. One thing I noticed, and I was talking to my friend about this the other day, is a lot of the information is a lot of information that I work with is old. Like I'm talking like my knowledge is probably 7 years old. I mean I've been learning newer things in terms of like working with my language and all that other stuff, language of choice, which is JavaScript. But it's like a lot of the shit that I do is old shit. It's not like, oh wow, this is new or anything else like that. And I was like, man, I felt some type of way about that. I was just like, whoa, especially even like my old networking logic. Sorry for all the stuff that I'm doing on the chat, but I want to kind of get that right. I kind of want to make like the chat background. I don't like the. Mm, I guess that's kind of cool. Maybe I change the opacity there. Tell me what you guys think about that. Um, it's good going MGTOW. It's damn finance class is killing me. It's this damn finance class. Are you taking like a full on degree or something like that? Like where you're doing all that stuff, Dave Tal? Are you like you just going for like an actual thing? Finishing up this annoying Angular Spring Boot project, bro. MGTOW Universe, man. Like, what are your thoughts on JavaScript? Because that's all I'm seeing for back end development. Um, or not JavaScript, but Java. All I'm seeing is Java, Java Spring Boot, full stack Java, blah blah blah. Um, and I'm like, I don't want to. I'm not a Java person. I do not like the language. I do not like the way it looks. I actually do stuff in some Groovy script because I work with this product called Logic Monitor, and they use Java, or they use Groovy, which is Java based, or Java, yeah, kind of Java based, Java like, I should say. But I mean, I could write in it. I just don't like the whole importing of all the other stuff. And with Groovy script, it's not like full on Java, so it's not like huge. Just trading in real estate in Dubai. Really? Oh, okay. It's just I had a really good dinner with somebody last night, a gym buddy of mine, and my gym my gym trainer always be they be going at it, man. He'd be like, man, he's so weird. He always be saying wild shit and all this other stuff. And like those two, when they go at it, bro, it's just like I'm telling, like he be saying this shit to his face, but they've been friends for like years. I guess they grew up together type deal. But I had a great conversation with him. We took like an hour-long drive out to Brunswick, Georgia. Went to Reed's Apothecary. Love that restaurant, one of my favorites. He actually enjoyed it too, and especially enjoyed the food. Um, Definitely was one of those things where it was like kind of worth it. It was worth it in terms of the conversation, making a connection with someone who's on a level that I would like to get to some extent, right? Like in terms of what he's doing, I don't want to do exactly what he's doing. He's doing some more stuff in kind of like real estate, which I'm not fond of or a fan of, and I'd rather do it in finance, or do it in businesses or something like that. But we had good conversations, man, and like, He's a really good dude. I really do like him. Really, really do like him, man. And when you when you sit down with him, he's really not like he's not like weird. He's just he just says some shit. He just says some off the wall shit to the Pat, and I think he does it because he wants to play around with Pat. It's fucking hilarious, dude. Especially when those two do it. In Dubai, you get rent paid 6 months in advance. Oh, okay. Yeah. Now, are you there? Well, I know you're like independently wealthy, Keanu, from what I've, you know, what we've talked about in the past. But, is it something, you know, are you there for work or are you just there chilling, living the life? Dave Tao. Okay, so, oh, here we go. Dave Tao, MBA concentration in computer information systems. Okay. Yeah, like so you're probably if you're learning SQL and you want to do data analytics, then you're going to be going into what's it called? You're going to be going into R, the R programming language or the R plotting language, and probably into Python if you're doing math. One thing I want to learn is better with numbers. So with Go, what I'm noticing is like it's crazy how they deal with numbers. Not crazy how they deal with numbers. Really, it's not that crazy. It's just when it comes to numbers, there's a lot to do with numbers. That like there's a lot you can do with numbers. Different number types, int, float, or hold on. There's a lot. And I was reading this in the library the other day. Started discovering my local library, and really chill spot. A lot of homeless people go there, from what I was told, and it is definitely true. They go there, they charge up their battery packs and stuff, and they use the computers and stuff throughout the day. So it's a spot for them to go. So in terms of integer types or numeric types, there is int8, so it's like I think an 8-bit integer. Int16, int32, int64, and crazy ass numbers and what it goes to, and I'll go over that here in a second. Then they have uint8, which I don't totally understand, because I do understand this. So one thing I read is int8 goes from -128 to +127. For zeros counted in that, which is why you have 127 on the positive side. And U16, you have negative numbers for int. But then uint starts at 0 and then goes up from there. So that's one thing. I forgot what the U means. I don't totally understand that. And then they have other like numeric types. Yeah, there's different numeric types, and then there's Go supports. Okay, there are some uncommon 64-bit CPU architectures that use 32-bit signed integer for the int type. Go supports 3 of them: AMD 64P32, MIPS, that's MIPS processors, 64P32, and MIPS 64P32LE. So there's stuff like that. So, and it's like choosing which integer to use, and it'll tell you kind of like, hey, what's the usual, like what you usually do. So yeah, that's I thought that was something that's pretty cool. Where are we at? Oh, okay, yeah, all right. I'm catching up here. Sheed, we here. What's up, brother? As always, appreciate you. Got the shop looking good. Yeah, man. Yeah. I got angles. I got angles, son. I got angles, kid. I'm all over the place with it. Yeah. I got angles. Yeah. Uh-huh. Now back to my face. Okay, cool. But yeah, bro. Appreciate that. Does it disappear? It's not disappearing. Sheed, you were here too long. R, SPSS, Python are must in DA or data analytics. What is SPSS? That acronym I do not know. Decided to move here because too much gun violence in America and raising a family here, it's safer. So you got a family going on, Keanu? Yeah, man. I haven't talked to you in forever, man. I hope everything's good with that. Are you expected to memorize the rules of a coding language? In some cases, right? Like you want to know the basics, like how to how to damn, how do you say that? I want to say instantiate or initiate, but how to declare. There you go. How to declare a variable, what numbers to use, how numbers will actually work, especially in data analytics. That's why I mentioned numbers, because you start to see, right? You start to see like this is what you're talking about in terms of numbers and understanding Go. So when you're like working on stuff like this, you're like, wow, okay, numbers are important, and numbers are even more important in data analytics. Come on. I think I messed up the color by doing that with the book. But you start to understand how numbers are really important in terms of the representation, how numbers actually get truncated and other things like that. So that's one thing that you do have to worry about when you're working with a language, and understanding like the idiosyncrasies with languages, because then other things like how things are become true or false. In Go, there is no like, things get massaged. There is no truthy falsy like you have in JavaScript. JavaScript, as I'm learning, is a very forgiving language where you can do a lot of fuck shit in, and then it will still just work, right? Like it'll still just work. It'll run. It'll execute, no problems. But then you'll have that one or two problems here and there, and you're like, what the hell? The code is right. It compiled, or it gets ran. It gets executed and turns into runtime code. Blah blah blah. And then it'll be something that happens, and then you find out like, oh, okay, because of I wish I had the JavaScript book. I didn't bring it in here, but because of how certain values are massaged into a truthy falsy value, undefined null and stuff like that may not be caught, and you have to actually deal with that edge case. Matt lives. Matematica is secondary. I pronounce it like that because that just sounds like a Spanish word. SAS ERP2. I don't know what SAS and ERP2. And don't forget about Excel VBA. Well, yeah. So the Excel stuff, man, that's that's like doing that VBA scripts and stuff like that, and understanding that. That's good for like transportability. But now I'm like, man, why not just do things like use, what do they call that? Why not just use Power BI, like instead of Excel? There's licensing with that and stuff like that. And also, how deep you want to go with it. But I would be like, man, just use freaking, what's it called? Just use Power BI now. Unsigned integers. So I don't understand. Oh, unsigned integers. Okay, that's what that means. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much for that, Aquateki. And honestly, that's another thing about reading. Like I listen to videos so much, you gloss over things. It doesn't sit in your mind the same way. So if I want to get better, I have to do things to get better. My C programming learning days trauma is flaring up. To the text folks, are you expected to memorize the rules of a coding language? Yeah. Listen, if anybody else can jump in on that, yeah. U stands for unsigned, only positive. Oh, okay. Only positive. Thank you. That really helps. That really does help. For the fundamentals, yes. Oh, sorry. Maybe I didn't answer it in time. Sorry, I'm just going through these things. Okay, SBS statistical package for social sciences, proprietary program software and scripting language, and industry standard ish. Okay, all right, cool. How do you feel about .NET? I am not a .NET guy. I am not a .NET guy. I don't like the I don't like the syntax. I don't like the way .NET looks. I don't like its face. I don't like its fucking face. But honestly, there's .NET jobs out there. The biggest thing, right? If you have to learn a language, it's really not that hard or big a deal. Like, it really isn't. Like, if you have to learn a language, go ahead and learn the language, man. If they require you to use .NET. Now, me personally, I do not like .NET because it's kind of like, I think it's like C# or something like that, or I forgot. But then it would be like, okay, C# is the sidekick or side chick. Java, C, C++, ASM is the wife. It's the wife, okay. Ben Porter, I love C#. Yeah, okay, so yeah, C#. So like that's what .NET is. It's just kind of like I think it's like C sharp for the web or something like that. It's kind of how I think of it, but I'm not sure. I really don't like the way it looks. I also it's a lot of stuff that is C based. If you know C, C sharp, and all that other stuff, C plus plus, those languages, .NET is easy to pick up, and .NET is made for web in a sense. So you can make small packages that you can move around, reinstall on different systems, blah blah blah. So C sharp is really good with that, or I mean .NET is really good with that. And then of course you can execute it in like serverless microservices. I don't think I'm not sure if if they not produce but supported in AWS. I'm not sure. Are languages built off of ODs one another? Do you need to know one language before you learn another? Um, Not necessarily. You don't always need to know one language before the other, but it is good to have a nice entry point. Now, if you learn some of the older languages like your C, C++, C sharp, and all that other stuff, you will fare better with newer languages like JavaScript, or even what's it called, Go, and things like that. Some of the people that wrote Go wrote Linux, or sorry, wrote Unix and wrote Go, wrote C sharp, no, C++, I forgot. But they're old heads on the Google side. JS is a forgiving language, and that's a problem. Yeah, yeah, and I could see like some of my problems with JavaScript or how JavaScript has exacerbated them and made them worse. If you have any good business ideas, let me know. I will invest. Actually, I'm working on dog breeding right now, so we're probably gonna have our first litter. If I do well enough in that, yeah, I'll think about you and like push you or push you to the guy and talk with you more about that. But put in about 5 grand. I gave him half the other day. I got to give him the other half. It's been stuff with money nowadays has been crazy. But uh, we'll be doing dog breeding, and the first litter should be coming up. So if that works out, put in 5 grand, and I should be getting probably about 17.5 or 17,500 if everything works out. Nothing's guaranteed, so really this is just a pilot program for all that. Um, but yeah, I'll let you know, Keanu. Which is why people should be using TS in the workplace. But if you want to live life on the edge, well, TypeScript, I'm not really. Honestly, TypeScript is cool, man. I will be using it in one of my other projects. I love Nest.js and how it's kind of like everything's like really organization is the biggest thing. It's just a framework for organization in my book with TypeScript on top of that. But if I'm writing a code and I want to do it quick, fast, I'm just going to write raw JavaScript and get it done as a proof of concept and then move on from there. Yeah, Power BI and Tableau. And Tableau's not too bad. I've used Tableau before. Power BI, I've put data in there. Maytag Universe, man, thank you for answering some of these things too. I got to get you up on the stream and we could talk a little bit more. I don't think we've ever talked directly. We've talked on panels and things like that. So I always appreciate you, bro, in terms of the work that you do. And you going over fighting the good MGTOW fight. Um, T Riddler, man. Yeah, I'm glad you guys are like talking with one another in the chat here. I'm finally catching up. You're very welcome. For those looking to start programs, start with Python. Okay, so yes, you can like if you have your starter Pokemon, JavaScript and Python. Python, what I like about Python is the community. There's a lot more people surrounding Python. In terms of like overall examples and things like that. JavaScript, kind of the same thing. JavaScript, especially out in the wild in terms of Node.js and using that. That's going to be your front end stuff, your full stack stuff, especially if you're doing web based development. But if you're doing back end processing and things like that, going through files and doing all types of other stuff, yeah, Python will work. And then also Python with working with Raspberry Pis, big, especially in robotics. One thing I want to learn Go for is, again, for one of my personal projects, but I want to use Go for its speed and using like multiple processors, or its its use for or its use of compute resources. It's not single threaded or anything else like that. And then working on, okay, hey, listen, this thing's a little bit more not stable, but it in terms of dealing with load and concurrent loads, it works a lot better than something like a TypeScript or JavaScript from what I've seen so far. I watched the Primogen, and he did a test between TypeScript and Go, and Go worked very well. Hey, and MGTOW Universe, man, definitely check out MGTOW Universe's channel, man. He does more of this stuff than I do. I've been doing a lot of like just talking and blabbing mindset stuff. And this is kind of like my foray getting back into code. Um, with my work, it's just been kind of like difficult. I was looking to start program. Okay, a few other languages that has and a few other languages that have died off. Big Time Universe. I was just going to ask. Had someone say. I had someone say start with SQL. SQL. I mean, I don't always think of SQL as like a language, right? But SQL is definitely something you want to use to actually get data and stuff like that. SQL isn't a program. Thank you. There you go. I'll fight to the death on that one. I don't think of SQL as a programming language. It's like, it's a set of command line prompts type deal. I don't look at it as a language though. Um, I mean, I think it's like, for instance, you have Bash scripting. Like, if anything, it's a scripting language at the most, if you will. But it reminds me of Bash. Like, Bash is a program, but I wouldn't say you write a language. You don't write code in Bash. You write Bash scripts and you execute them. That's about the. So I definitely agree with MGTOW Universe on that one. SQL isn't a programming language. I'll fight to the death on that one. A bit extreme, but I follow him on that one. But it looks like one though. I don't know if it looks like one for me. I'm big into domain investing. What is domain investing? Yeah, what is domain investing? I don't know what that is. Agreed, MGTOW Universe. SQL is a scripting language. Thank you. Okay, see, I'm catching up. Like, thank you, Aquatechie. Said the same thing. Um, I'll let you live. uh, Yeah, I don't. I'm breeding Borbals, so South African Mastiffs, the same dogs that I have. I'm not. I'm hands off on it. Silent partner. I'm just here on trying to build a business, build a company, build a good foundation. My thing is building a product of some sort, right? And that product or brand makes money, and then we can sell off a piece of it, sell off my share of it if I don't want to be in on it anymore. But I want it to be something a little bit bigger. You breeding Frenchies? Yeah, Frenchies probably later on though. I appreciate that. Yeah, sometime soon. Yeah, for sure, bro. Definitely. Bun.js. It's just too new. I also want to go back and to like look at some things like Deno, which is the other Node project. I haven't seen, or kind of Node 2.0, so to speak, and Node the way it should have been, or whatever they want to call it. I don't know. But I want to probably look at Deno, and Bun is just a little bit too new right now. I doubt you're gonna have too many products written in Bun, or written using Bun as a runtime library or something like that, or a runtime. JavaScript and Python, got it. Yeah, I mean, I like JavaScript if you want to do full stack development, any web based stuff. If you want to be a jack of all trades, definitely. I think. Oh, I gotta check. I did some work on changing. You know, when I talk, it actually syncing up properly. There were some problems in the last stream that I noticed, so I actually got to check that out. Which language would be beneficial for breaking into cybersecurity? Honestly, really anything, but I would say like mostly scripting and understanding. I wouldn't say breaking into cybersecurity using just a language. Python is good. There's a lot of scripts written in that, but any language and understanding like if statements, case statements, coding paradigms, clean code, dry coding. So don't repeat yourself. KISS, keep it simple, stupid, which is just, general for anything, but keep it simple and straightforward. And also learning how to work with your language of choice. Also, because if you're using like scripting, maybe Bash is probably even better in terms of like a scripting language or an environment to run scripts and code in. If you want to work with cybersecurity, because a lot of that stuff is just a Bash one-liner. It's like, okay, I got access to a shell. I'm not going to be running multiple Bash commands. I'm going to be running one Bash command that's like fucking 1,000 something characters long, if not more. And then all of that is just really a condensed script into a one-liner. So you might be better off learning an operating system such as Linux, and then working on tools that you can use to circumvent security in a system. So learning Linux, learning SE Linux, and things like that. So I'd probably say you're better off working with, like, say, Bash. If I was to say anything about cybersecurity in terms of your first thing. I can't tell how many people argue with me about HTML and SQL being the programming languages. HTML, yeah, no, because it's not interpreted or compiled. There's no runtime, so to speak. Um, HTML, though, is interpreted. So, yeah, I could see that. But I don't know about SQL. Like, I guess you could say SQL is interpreted, but yeah, I wouldn't say. I HTML, I'm like, a little bit iffy on. I would say Python and assembly when doing Linux. Okay, Python and assembly, god dang, and that's for a start. But Def Python for sure. Yeah, Python is a good language. I think the biggest thing about Python, like, I'm not a user of Python, even though if you look at new JavaScript like ES6 on, it's kind of Python-like in terms of, like, importing stuff. No logic or control structures. No, you're right. There is no logic and control structures. I wanted to say there was, but that's mostly like all the stuff that they're putting on top of it, like your Vue, Redux, React, and all that other stuff, which are languages that produced HTML. So yeah, you're right. JavaScript-based languages, no loops. Yeah, there's no loops. What do you think about Go and the fact that it only has one loop structure? I think that's pretty cool. I haven't gotten to that in the book. This is O'Reilly Learning Go. Bodner is the so-called author of this book. But I think, what do you think about Go only having for loops? I read that somewhere. I don't think it has any other loops. Like, you don't have for each. You don't have higher order methods. You don't have map and all this other stuff. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? MGTOW universe. Oh, what? No loops. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I think this looks pretty good. I do, and we'll get into some Go stuff. We'll go along. Thank you guys. I probably won't be looking at the chat as much. It's a lot to, like, look at a chat. Like, I was here for maybe 30 minutes, an hour, or no, probably an hour or so, doing some stuff on my computer before this whole thing here. Ooh, I do like the fact that this is there. That's kind of cool. So the selling point for Go is the concurrency parallelism. I haven't gotten around to it, but I will one day. Yeah. Just subscribe to both of your channels. Hey, thanks, Clark S. I appreciate you, bro. I really do. I'm here to help. I don't talk programming as much as I used to. So fair warning, if you see me talking about the state of relationships, black community, culture, and some other stuff, that's kind of what I've been on lately. Kind of just to get away from the day-to-day work that I have to deal with. I work in multiple programming languages. I won't say I'm a polyglot of any sort because I don't know them all, but I have to deal enough with them. I'm using. I was thinking about getting NetBeans and downloading Goland, but just for the sake of, what do they call it? I don't like the fact they charge monthly on that or yearly price on that. It's cool, whatever, but that's the subscription model nowadays. Is what everybody's going with. But I use VS Code, and then I'm starting to build that out, and that's just because I use VS Code for everything, for all the work that I do. So I don't want to do like, hey, listen, I have this here, and all this other stuff, and I don't get certain things. So VS Code, and I use VS Code because I also want to do stuff with I use VS Code because I also want to do stuff with Node.js as well. So I can jump around. The way I'm actually structuring this project that I'm working with is the gamer. So that's the Grizzly Autonomous Mowing Robot. I think it was Aquateki that came up with that name. So that gamer project. So you don't pirate. No, I don't pirate in my old age. I just don't do it anymore, man. Like that whole pirating software stuff. Like I stopped doing that with like Word and all this other stuff, man. Like I got tired of it. Like after a while, I was like, just buy it. Like I just buy it. Like I think it was around, damn, like 30, 30, 35 or something like that. In between that time, where I was just like, I'm not installing Word 2016 and having to crack it, and then people calling me, oh, my Word's not working because I gave them, yeah, I'm not really into it. But I pay for stuff now, man, and I've been doing that for a number of years. I've been paying for stuff. VSC is great as well. Yeah, and I would like to use like some of the IntelliJ or NetBeans and all this other stuff. I think it's NetBeans is the not manufacturer, the developer. Hold on, guys. I want to check this. I want to check the stream out. Is great as well. Yeah, and I want to use. I would like to use like some of the IntelliJ. Okay, that's good. Oh, okay. It didn't take a minute. Okay, cool. Oh, yeah. Let me check how this looks. I want to see how the. Yeah, and I want to use. I would like to use like some of the. I'm not exactly sure if I like. So it looks like the lip syncing are voice matching up with everything else is working fairly well. Glad with that. Um, Whoever's sharing my stream, man, I appreciate it because I don't always get this many views. It's been getting up there lately, thankfully, so that's pretty cool. But whoever's sharing my stream, I appreciate you guys all the time, man, for doing that. Like, I don't ever think like what I do is not like it's not. I know it's not unimportant, but I just never think that highly of some of the stuff that I do, which is just kind of crazy. You can call it imposter syndrome or whatever, or humility of some sort. I do humble brag a lot, like a motherfucker. I ain't gonna lie, y'all know me. But you know, yeah, I really do appreciate you guys, man. Mm, I don't like. Maybe I can. I would like to increase the font on this thing here. Soon to app windows. Activate system audio capture. Corner radius. Border. No. Mm, distance. Oh, okay. All right. I think that's enough for that. Smooth Rivers, howdy. What's up, brother? Appreciate you joining. Um, all right, cool. So let's get into Go or the little bit that I've been learning. So as I said earlier, I've been reading this O'Reilly book. It is getting a little bit toasty in here, but I've been reading this O'Reilly book lately. I am on page like 31. I am a slow reader, but this has been good so far, and it's not that big. So hey, guys, go ahead and check it out, or you could probably get the PDF and download it. Um, but been learning a little bit more about Go and understanding it. Let me shut off the stream on my phone because I know that'll take up bandwidth and stuff. Let me adjust this AC here. Oh shoot! I don't know what the temperature is in here. Oh, I guess it was lower than 75. Oh, you guys saw me the whole time. Cool. This is the OSB bot or OBS bot camera. It's actually really good. Really like it. Okay, so let's go to screen full. All right, some stuff I'll work on this. I covered my whole face. That is beautiful. All right, let's move that up here a little bit. Ecan Live so far has been pretty good. really do like it. Move it up here. And what I'll probably do here is get rid of the chat. Okay. All right. So I went through the whole installation process of Go Homebrew on this system as well. So some of the prerequisites of doing all of this is I would say definitely get Homebrew set up on your system. You can do that via script. So Visual Studio Code, Homebrew, because I use a Mac. So if it's Windows, it'll probably be something like Chocolatey and whatever other separate binaries, especially with Git. You don't or you can actually just you can download Git as an exe. You can download Node runtime, Go runtime, all that other stuff. But I'm using I go to there's Golang docs. So let me duplicate this and go back. So I just search, how to install Go on Mac. Um, so you guys can check out this link. And, I think the previous post, yeah. So if you wanted to do it on Windows, you could do it there as well. Do I have any porn tabs open? No? Okay, cool. Not on this computer, I guess. Um, like, honestly, man, I really like the library. My local library. It was pretty cool. Like, it was really cool in there. You see that JavaScript book, man? That JavaScript book is thick as fuck. Yeah, it's gotta be about twice the size of this one. Oh, that's my finances. Those are my passwords. Everybody knows everything now. Great. Good job, Mike. You're an idiot. I'm just playing. All right, cool. Let's close those out for now. Um, I was on the part with variables, but how to install Go goes through the whole process for all operating systems. Mac. With Mac, you could probably do go to Homebrew first, and then I had it up earlier. Yeah, so if you want to install Homebrew on Mac, you can just copy and paste this command here. I just put it in the Visual Studio Code command line prompt. In fact, what I'll do here, let me get rid of the chat here, and then this one doesn't have it. I don't have that screen. Give me a sec. I can do it here. It shouldn't show this. Oh, okay, it does show that. Okay, well that's fine. I want to get. Okay, and then I want to go full screen again. I kind of don't want to see this. You guys can't see it, thankfully, but I can, and it's annoying me. It's pretty much how the whole thing looks. Ugh. Weird, man. Weird, weird, weird. Okay. I don't want to see this view, and let me get rid of this. Overlays. Yeah, I don't know how to get rid of that all the time. Okay, I don't know what to do with this. Okay, so where was I? Oh, I wanted to get my long screen on here, so let's. All right, cool. So you can't really see it. It's not really legible or anything like that, and it's gonna be hard to share that screen. But I have another monitor here that is, pretty much most of the code. I won't like when I work personally or doing some other stuff on the side. I'll have this, but essentially, once you get video, I think one of the first things you want to do to set up your whole environment, so to speak, would be like either Homebrew or VS Code. So VS Code first, personally, VS Code, and then you can from the terminal there set up your VS Code environment or your IDE, so that you can actually, do uh, work on the terminal or the command line for your system of choice, and then install anything such as any any other tools, plugins, and stuff like that. I won't go totally into it. I wonder how it picked that up. Sorry, it's probably like me drinking in your ear, of course. But I won't go too into it. But I would do VS Code first. Once VS Code is done, again, you guys, there's nothing you're missing on this screen. I'll move it over to the main screen a little bit later. But this is just kind of how I have my setup. And I would do VS Code first, then Homebrew, get all that stuff set up with all your different dependencies. Once that's done, then you're going to be doing stuff like getting the packages set up, right? You can even install Go from Homebrew, so that might be a bit easier thing to do in general. So I would probably suggest something like that. Bro, come on, man! Like this is ridiculous. I don't, I really don't like this preview mode. I don't like this preview mode. Okay, back to live view mode. Watch, it'll come back too. That's so fucking annoying. Whatever, man. Maybe I can make it. Probably just because it's obnoxiously huge. Jesus, man. I don't think you guys can see it, thankfully, but it's just. Alright, cool. That's. Okay, that's workable. I could work with that. Alright, cool. I'll figure out how to get rid of that shit later. It's just like a little preview window that shows me how it looks to you guys in terms of the stream. Anyway, so you get Homebrew installed, go through that process. So after this, if you go back to Go Docs, how to install Go on Mac OS, go through this process, which I did. In my case, what I had to do is restart Visual Studio Code, or actually close out the terminal that I had in Visual Studio Code, and then open up a new terminal, and then I was able to type in like Go version and use the Go command prompts. So it was recognized in my terminal then. So how to install Go on Linux? Get past that one. Hello World program. So this is kind of where I'm at right now. So with Go, I was able to set up a Hello World program. Let's see here. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. And it'll prompt you for one or two things as well. Um, oh man, is it? I don't know what it is in Mac to like split. Oh, I think I can do it like this. Reopen Mark tabs, Task Manager. There we go. Tile to the right of screen. Great. And then the other thing would be this. Wait, all right. Uh, get out of that. Sadly, this is a little bit better or easier, I think, on my laptop. Trying to. Oh man, task manager. I'm not gonna lie. There's some things where I'm like, I like Windows a lot better, especially like doing stuff like this where I work in Windows all day. Sorry to be so slow with this stuff. Where that? Where was that? Oh, goodness. All right, Mac. Oh, just hover over it. Okay. Tile window to right of screen, and then oh goodness. Okay. I think that's because I have it set up a way where that's not possible. There we go. Yeah, that's like a setting that I've done in on my system just to allow me to have it's different on my laptop. Um okay. All right, so with Go, Golang Docs. It'll tell you how to set up everything. I'm at the point where I was setting up Hello World and doing that whole thing. What's nice about, or what's kind of like different to me about Go, but it's the same, or it's um, old when it comes to working with Go with working with like programming in languages like C. It's a compiled language. It's something that's already packaged. You can go to any system, or you can go to a system, move it onto that system, and you can execute it from that system. You don't have to install all the other dependencies and things like that. For instance, as long as you have the source code, you can make your edits, changes, and deploy a new one. But the one that's deployed is the one that's deployed. There's no real like, okay, you can go back and edit it or anything else like that. So I thought that's pretty cool because this is kind of like my first foray into things like this because of I just classically didn't learn that. I didn't learn those older programming languages. Probably the oldest language I've ever written in or worked on is COBOL, and that was back when I didn't want to do programming. I wasn't really into it. Um, oh, it's asking me for some command line developer tools on the other screen here. So I wasn't really into it, and I wasn't like that person at the time of my life. And that was early. That was 2004, 2005, I think. And because it's not currently available, software update server. Okay. I wasn't really into it then. So let me get rid of this here too. Tall screen. So I wasn't really into it. So now I am getting more into programming, or I am a programmer coder. Uh, and now I'm really starting to look at, okay, how can I improve myself and get into some of your more structure, not structure, but older languages that have been around for decades, man. All right, so one thing I did here with Go, uh, created my file, did the main hello world, or your usual hello world. You got package main. I don't totally understand like the packaging system and how it works. One thing that's cool it says about the packaging system, right, is that there is no like central repository. It's kind of like decentralized. So if anything, I can install a package from someone else. But usually most people use GitHub, so you can just go get and then whatever the GitHub or what's it called repo is, and then you can use the at sign, and then you can say, oh, what version you want. So like, go get this project URL, and then at latest, and that'll get the latest version. Or you can say, hey, I want this version or something like that, or subversion. So I thought that was pretty cool. So there's no like npm, there's no or there's no npmjs.org. Um, there is no other pip. I think it's like the Python repositories or anything else like that. So I was like, oh, okay, that's a little bit on the different side. Like I don't really usually see that anymore. Or sorry, you don't. I've never seen that really, where you had stuff like that. So that to me was on. I'm always used to going to like npm.js, look at a package, look at its README and stuff like that, and then sometimes having to go to that package's GitHub page, look at some of the source even. That actually has really helped me is actually looking through the source code of some of the packages that I have in my modules folder. So another reason why I've been using Go is, or I've been using Visual Studio is because with Gamer V2, I have my core, which will be Go or written in Go. I have my interface, which will be written in something like maybe Vue or something like that. Is kind of another thing I want to get into. And then I have my actual client, which will be using Nest.js for that. So all of that will be in one repo. And this is because with the work I do now, a lot of the stuff is in one repo. Like you might have like a collection of lambdas, and then in your source folder you have all of those different lambdas as code, and then it gets deployed that way. And like I'm used to like, okay, well if I want to have the core, I could just have it in there. And I mean that's how I've always organized it. I know you can have different things in one folder, but having whole other projects in one folder, or even whole other languages in one folder, I thought that was pretty. I was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna do it like this. And then if I wanted to deploy a piece, no problem. You're downloading the whole thing and you just deploy that one little piece. If you need to, just go into that folder, deploy it, and then you're done. So you can separate that, move that around. It's not a big deal. Um, but yeah, in terms of like getting stuff with Go, I thought that was pretty cool. And also they use so staying up to date. Let me see if I can do something here with the desk camera. And with that being said, also getting the chat back here. And then I want to see if I can actually do something with the camera setup. Um, I want to see that I can, this camera here, I think it's locked. So no, bear with me, guys. I mean, for those that are still listening, I'm not sure if anybody is, but I appreciate you guys all always. And I try to answer questions and then really get into the meat of this stuff as we go along. Oh, here we go. All right, so if I do not my overlays, but I want to see if I can do the actual. Because I can actually cam desk. I wonder if you can see that. All right. I want to see if I can like zoom in on the text. That's kind of like what I want to do here, and that'll be really cool because then it's like you guys can kind of like read along with me with stuff. That'll be really cool. All right. Dave Tao, what's up, brother? I don't know if you just what's it called? Rejoined. Interview chat. Where is it? Okay. So if I go here, go desk, that's the scene. And then if I can go to the source, which is camera scene. camera. I'm expecting where I can like actually edit this layer here, but it doesn't allow me to do that. Hmm. I will get better. Oh, here we go. All right, cool. Camera effects. All right, got it. Got it. All right, I know what that is now. All right, so zoom and pan. It doesn't zoom in far enough. So I can do something like this with the camera. Mm. Okay. Excuse me, that failed. So let me just. Oh shoot. Okay, so zoom and pan. That is not the. All right, cool. All right, but that's cool. I got that. I got that going. All right, I got that. I can do stuff with. I can do something with that later. Keep that up. Camera and effects. Let me organize my producer screen here. Okay. Um. All right. Cool. Yeah, I wish I can like zoom in on this. The only other thing I could do is like move my camera, but it's probably not the best. What I might do then, that's actually a good idea. What I might do is get a camera that just focuses on like a reading camera or something like that, that could focus closer on some text that I'm reading. So then we can do kind of like study sessions. So I'll look into that, guys, and get something a little bit better. Probably get like another desk camera or something like that that's on an actual tripod that I can actually move around. So that'll be kind of cool. All right. So also, okay, in terms of like other things or other tools that it uses. So you have go to and go get, and then you can go get it from a repository to download files or anything else like that, or download actual modules for your project and then import them into your system. So I have to understand a little bit more about packages and importing. One thing I'm learning about is where to place code variables and doing things like that. So that's pretty cool. But then you have make files. So make files. An IDE is nice to use, but it's hard to automate. Modern software development relies on repeatable, automatable builds that can be run by anyone, anywhere, at any time. This avoids the the age-old developer excuse. It works on my machine, which is the reason for things like Docker, right? So you can have a Docker container, which should be that system packaged, so you can move it from one place to the next. So that's why things like Docker is so important. The way to do this is to use some kind of script to specify build steps. Go developers have adopted Make as their solution. So Make, I haven't used Make since making binaries for a specific processor, right? The processor architecture, like an old Intel Pentium, whatever, and putting that system together and waiting hours for it to build and make something and make a whole package. So that's been years since I've had to do that. But it's really cool how they do that, because with Make, you can do things like make default goal build. So let's actually look up one. And I thought this was interesting in my reading. So go lang make file. Okay, and it looks like Golang, just like any project, the docs are going to be like the thing to go to, unless you're working with Passport JS, but that's another story. Don't get me started on that. So see here. Oh, let me switch here. Alrighty. So with make, and sorry for the chat. I think actually we can make it work. Make it work. Um, yeah. So that. Oh, here we go. We can do this. Hey, there we go. Cool. That'll work. I kind of don't want to switch too much with the chat and stuff. Not too many people are talking right now, which is fine, guys. There's no need to talk or anything like that. For those that are here and whoever is catching the replay, I appreciate you as well. But all right, so using makefiles in Go, the main functionality use case for makefiles is easy to run different tasks using tags. Using tags, make tag name will simply run the task corresponding to tag name. So let's assume a sample program main.go. If you want to build this file, you'd normally run this document. What's nice about this, this is another step in what I'm already working with right now. So for instance, I'm here at this step is variables in Golang. And wow, this is pretty old. So variables in Golang. So using the var keyword, initializing. So honestly, you really don't even need this book. I like to have the book, move around with it, but you don't need this book. You can have this resource as a bookmark on your phone, and you can follow it as your introduction into Go. And Go is made to be a simple, easy to read language. Are easy to read and easy to pick up language, which is why, again, the book is so small. It tries to make things a lot simpler. It tries to make things simpler because of tooling reasons as well. So that was one of the things with the lead, some of the lead developers or the makers of Go, creators of Go, is that they wanted to make it to where it's like, okay, I can actually run this, put it together, and it won't be a big deal in terms of like people catching on to it because it's almost like other programs. And then also there's a lot of things that are just not interpreted or not. There's a lot of things that are clear. Like this is how you run it. There's no truthy or falsy. There is no, if you want to work with integers, there's no massaging of a string to an integer. If you want to work with the integers of different type, you know, if it's a uint and the other one is a float 64 or something like that, you will have to convert them to be the same so that they can be so you can do comparisons or do operations on them, plus add, multiply, so on and so forth. And then also you have to understand how these variables or how these numbers work in Go in terms of how things are truncated or what have you. So I thought that was really cool too because they try to simplify it instead of doing all these things where you build on top of it. It's like, listen, there's almost it's almost like only one path to take, right? Like for loops, there's only one really for loop. There's no for each. There's no for of, no for in, or anything else like that going through keys. You are going to do your basic for loop. So I thought that was pretty cool. So same thing. So with this makefile. So what's cool about the makefile is you can I like to say almost like a recipe. This is a recipe of what you're going to do. So let's how do I zoom in on a Mac? I mean, I used to be like to get to have that mouse. I have it in my on my in my house, but sorry if there's any noises in the background. I gotta check the audio quality. So like, I think it's the fridge that's making the most noise right now, or probably the AC. It's not horrible. It's actually fairly quiet. It's just like something I hear in the background. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, the Go Docs. You can go to the Go Docs. It'll tell you how to install it all the way to like, hey, this is what you're doing. All right, perfect. Let's move on to Makefiles. So this is something I thought was interesting. So right here you have Go main build main.go. So your main.go file is your source file. Pretty much that I have right here where I have all of this. I have this code in there. I'm really trying to like figure out how to zoom in this thing, man. Oh, and that's another. Okay, there we go. Um, I'll probably just press. Okay, cool. Let's use the key bindings. That'll work. Yeah, my friend Miguel saw the stream and everything, and he was like, "Yeah, it's a good start, but there's a lot of things in terms of like the other view that I have, which I love this view. It has a lot on it though. It has too much on it, and it's not good for people that are maybe like watching mobile or rewatching during mobile." So that was actually a really good point that he made about that. So I'm trying to be considerate with that. Alrighty, so you have Go build. So there's two different type of Go ways to run your Go file, right? You can do Go build, which will actually make it into an executable, package everything up, and then hey, listen, that's something that you can move from one system to the next and execute. But then, and that's it being compiled. But then you have Go run. So Go run still builds it in the background, but it's just a quicker way of just running it, and it's not like a package that gets that's saved to your system. It just gets thrown away. So it actually does it, builds it, runs the code or executes the code, shows you what the output's going to be, and then once that output is done, it actually gets rid of the built file, the executable itself. So that's pretty cool. And then you can also do like build dash o, and that'll change the output where you want it. So for instance, if you want it in a certain directory or to be a certain name, and then it builds your whole project there. So, however, with a single make file, you can create two tasks to build and run instead. So, what's cool about this is there's other things in terms of like I mentioned tooling earlier. So there's like GoLint. Um, so there's linting and vetting. While Go FMT ensures your code is formatted correctly, it's just the first step to ensuring that your code is idiomatic and of high quality. All Go developers should read through effective Go. So I'll read through. I'll actually use that here in a second and get you that link and the code review comments page in Go Wiki to understand what idiomatic Go looks like. There are tools that help you enforce this style. The first is called GoLint. The term linter comes from okay, blah blah blah. It tries to ensure that your code follows style guidelines. Some of the changes it suggests include properly naming variables, formatting error messages, and placing comments on public methods and types. Um, and that's another thing. I want to do in terms of like writing JavaScript or writing better JavaScript, even as TypeScript or whatever, using more JS docs where you can actually, the code itself produces the documentation for Swagger or any other plugins. So, but you have to do all that stuff ahead of time and think about that, writing proper interfaces. That's another thing that I think that's pretty cool as well. So, and understanding that and saying, okay, hey, listen, this is how this is your input, and this is everything that should be in there. I mean, how do you know about it? I learned that working with someone else, and he was just like, well, the thing is, I don't know what this code should. I don't know what the parameters should be, right? Even if I see the parameters, like is there? Like, what is there mean? It doesn't mean that it's true or false. It doesn't mean that it's a string. Is it really there? Like, is the parameter expecting a string, and then the string should be there? And you don't think about these things as you're developing it because you know in your mind because you wrote it, but it's not something that you understand. I always be looking at myself, of course, but it's not something that another person that's coming behind you would understand. So you can use things like a JS doc. And some people, like Primogen, he had a stream the other day talking about TypeScript, and he's just like, "Yo, TypeScript is nice, but you could use JS doc to get the same thing." Also, if you wanted strong typing in terms of like comparison operators, just use triple equals instead of double equals. So then it's gonna compare the two and then make sure that they're of the same type. So if you want to say like, hey, is this value the same as this value? And that'll be double equal, you do your comparison. But is this value the same as this value and the same type of this value? Is it string, num, whatever? So things like that are important, but can be done by doing triple equal and JS doc and almost like, hey, why do I need TypeScript? Now TypeScript has some other things and features like such as interfaces. There's interfaces, and I forgot the other one, and I was learning it at the time. It was a while back, but there's interfaces and man, I want to say type factories or something like that. Anyways, I forgot it what it is, but yeah, you can use either one. Um, So linting and vetting, and that's already built into Go. So really, it's just you really want Go aims to be a clean language from day one, or from as soon as you're writing it. There's a whole bunch of tools to stop you from writing bad Go. So let me get you guys that URL. Okay. Um, so that's a good link to have. Okay, so then the code reviews comment page as well. I'll be ending the stream pretty soon. Kind of want to watch a movie before I go to bed and chill out before I have to wake up here in a little bit. Okay. And let me know if you guys like these kind of study session formats. I know there's a lot of brothers in the space that want to learn more about coding, and I haven't really done much. I feel bad, but I also don't. It's just I've been burnt out with a lot of stuff in terms of not burnt out, but like been working a lot. Thankfully, I haven't been burnt out yet. Other thing I've been doing is trying to like make connections with other people in the local area and everything like that too. Been making really good connections and talking with people, and it's been fun. It's been really fun. I actually met the mayor of the town, who's ran unopposed, and even my trainer. He was like, "Man, you should be on the city commission." I was like, "What?" So I thought that was pretty cool. But maybe I'll start like doing more stuff and being more involved in the community and what goes on around here, and doing things like, "Hey, listen, you know, dipping my toe into it, so to speak, like being a tech liaison of some sort, because he'll ask me questions all the time and be like, "Hey, Mike, what do you think about this? Or how should I do this?" So on and so forth. So it looks like I think GoLint has been replaced. So 2022 update, GoLint has been deprecated. In addition to GoLang CI lint, other recommended replacements are Static Check. So staticcheck.io and revive.run. This can be updated in the future. Oh, another one is another thing that's pretty cool for you guys is if you wanted to run, like, say, for instance, just mess around with Go, you don't have a system or something like that. Ooh, that's a beautiful picture. I love that one. Close to the sun. I definitely recommend getting the ArtStation plugin for your system, for your browser. It's freaking awesome. I mean, you'll come across pictures like this all the time, and great artists such as this one. Oh, I already have this guy. I already have him saved. There's a couple things. Oh yeah. Oh wow. Magic the Gathering art. Woo! Yo, this is tight. Magic the Gathering, Bullacud Exploration. Bro, what card is that? Wow, that's really cool. Um, what was I doing? Yeah, I want to come back to that. Oh yeah, so you can go. I think it's. Let's search for Go Playground. Play.golang.com. So this is a good resource as well. shit. Somebody out there busting shots. So, pretty much this is what I just did. But you can also do things like what's cool is with this Go Playground, you can actually separate files like file two or file 2.go, and that runs as a different file or something like that. I thought that was pretty cool. Also, you can't really execute anything in here that's crazy, but this is a good scratch pad, I think, for writing Go programs. Like, for instance, I use jsfiddle.net to do like little snippets of code when I'm doing code reviews for people. So that's pretty cool. Or it's pretty cool for something like that. But yeah, the Go Playground, and a couple things that it points out here. If your program depends on time, be aware that the clock is set to November 10th, 2009, 2300 UTC, the date of the initial announcement of Go. But even with these limitations, the Go Playground is a very useful way to try out new ideas without creating a new project locally. Throughout this book, you'll find links to Go Playground so you can use and run code examples. So be aware that the Go Playground is someone else's computer, Google, so you don't have complete free reign. Huh. I think they spelled rain wrong. I've never seen it spelled that way. It looks like it's missing a G. It always runs the latest stable version of Go, so if you need something that's version dependent, it's not a good place for it. Again, it's good for something like, writing an if statement or something like that. You cannot make network connections and processes that run for too long or use too much memory are stopped. Yeah, so yeah, that's one thing that's good about Go or Go Playground. Yeah, and I did the file thing right too. Staying up to date. One thing I want to do is the linting, like the in-place linting. So I want to look that up, or I want to look up how we can get that done. So it looks like this is gone though. This will be the last thing I do. Then I have to walk away from this for the night. I'll probably do some of this stuff on the weekends mostly for some of these streams, saying, "Hey, listen, this is what I learned throughout the week." I think that'll be better. That'll be better for my schedule personally. Um, but I can't do it like every night during the week or every other day or anything like that. So this will be mostly a weekend thing, probably like Saturdays or even Sundays, like now. Hey, Jared Charles, what's up, brother? Appreciate you, bro. Just wanted to test that whole thing out there. That's really cool, though. Showing current scene. Okay. Huh. I don't know why. Whatever. Cool. Hey, yeah, man. Thank you for showing up, bro. I was supposed to disappear. Oh, takes a sweet time. Yeah. So so due to the above reason, Golang CI lint a Golinker's or Go linters a Go linters aggregator that runs linters in parallel reuses the gold build cache and cache analysis results for much improved performance, and subsequent runs is preferred way to set up Go linting in Go projects. Oh shoot. I can't really fix this. I can't really fix this. I'm just reading this text here. I have to be mindful of like what you all can see and can't see. Yeah, there we go. GoLint CI or Golang CI lint is a very fast YAML-based configurator base. Okay. But the thing is, how old is this? This blog will focus on some of the awesome linters available for Go linters. But what is a modern Go lint? The good number of linters available have been built and maintained a community. All right, let's see what they got out there. Awesome Go linters. Okay, so let's see. When was the last time? 5 freaking years ago. Jesus. Okay. You have your initial commit. So 3 years ago. Damn, May 2020. Mm. The dash S flag. So you have Go FMT. Hmm. Let's see here. Another thing is like declaration as well, which is pretty cool. And how you can actually do that. You can do like whole blocks of variable different declarations, which you could do in JavaScript, which you can do in Groovy or Java even. So I thought it was pretty cool how they did it because I was like, oh, okay, I've never seen that in JavaScript. I never looked for it either, but I thought that was really cool how you can do that and how you can group all of those things. Um, in fact, I'll just show it to you real quick instead of just talking about it. Another thing is, as mentioned earlier, Go and most other programming languages stores floating point numbers using a specification called IEEE 754. So there's like a whole specification on how to deal with floating numbers. I thought that was pretty cool. And this is one thing that's good to point out earlier. It's like, should you learn this? I think it was like T. Riddler was asking, like, should you learn, you know, uh, something about the language, right? Like you should learn the basics, or like, do you have to learn the whole thing? And you really don't. But there's little things like this. The actual rules are outside the scope of this book and they aren't straightforward. For example, if you want to store the number negative 3.14 or negative 3.1415, which is pretty much pi, yeah, that should be pi, in a float 64, the 64 representation in memory looks like a whole bunch of ones and zeros, which is exactly equal to negative 3.1415, a whole bunch of zeros, and then a couple other numbers. Many programmers learn at some point how integers are represented in binary. Rightmost position is 1, next is 2, next is 4, and so on. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So in terms of what it takes up in terms of its value, um, floating point numbers are very different. Out of the 64 bits above, 1 is used to represent the sign, positive or negative. 11 are used to represent a base 2 exponent, and 52 bits are used to represent the number in a normalized format called mantissa. You can learn more about the IEEE 754 standard on Wikipedia page. What's cool about something like this, right, and understanding your language and what you can do um, using Ecamm, I see. Yeah, bro. Yeah. So far, man, Ecamm is working out very, very well. Like I'm really liking it. I'm really liking it. I'm really liking how it's coming together. Things like that. Other things such as like how to do all these different things in terms of like, oh, that's my camera. There we go. Doing different things about like how um, dealing with cameras, zooming in and out, working with the Elgato. It's a lot easier to pick up than anything I did with OBS or even um, OBS and what was the other one? There's OBS and something else. I forgot the other one. I forgot the other one. It was like a Streamlabs. Streamlabs. There we go. It was a lot easier to pick up, in my opinion, and it works better. And also, I have a beefier system for this here in the workshop because of all the stuff I'm doing on it. I don't think I need it per se, but yeah, so far it's heavy software. Yeah. Um. Yeah. Yeah. OBS. There's a lot to it, and there's a lot of customizations and stuff you can do. But I found that I can do a lot of stuff easier and faster here such as like even setting up things like this with all the different cams and everything. This is something I was working with the other day with the interview. Um, just the full cam, full screen. So, and that, I mean, I bring in Zoom with it. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So with this, it's Ecamm, it has the interview feature, but I don't like the fact that with the interview feature, like you can only have so many hours per year, like 250 hours per year. Like you gonna limit me on the year? I'm already paying for the software every year, and then you want to limit me on the hours? Ugh, I don't like that. So yeah, you have different standards, and that's going into like the kind of the intricacies of the language itself as you read deeper into a book, or if you learn more about the language itself. Also, its operators, how you declare variables, how you compare variables, how you print things out to standard output, how you actually do calculations, so on and so forth. Okay, thought that was pretty cool. Um, so Go FMT. Another thing about Go, in terms of the way things are formatted, in terms of the simplicity of the language as well, in terms of also the rules of the language that are implied in terms of how you write it, it expects certain things to be on lines. In terms of like, you don't want to have your opening curly braces or your opening closure for a function on the next line, which is something you would see probably in C or .NET. Um, but you want to have it on the same line, because what Go will do is when it actually goes through and compiles the code or gets it ready for compilation, it actually lints the code, makes those small changes, and then builds your code for you. And I thought that was really cool. But you can also do it in line where it's like, okay, I want to go over all my files and make all these changes to the files, and then work with spacing, indentation, so on and so forth. I believe it uses tabs for indentation. I think it's like single tab. So those are the things that I'm like learning and understanding. var versus another thing here. This is something I mentioned earlier, and guys, I will get better with this. I will get better at this as I go along. Um, so how you deal with variables or defining variables, right here. Um, oh, mm, There we go. So you see, like you could see where you can do var and then parentheses or open parentheses, x, and then the type that it is, or you can actually exclude that. So you can see that on the other line, y. So int or x in this case has a 0 default value, and it talks about that. So it has a 0 default value, and you could say x int, and then that's it. So it already automatically thinks that, hey, listen, that is defined as 0. And then you can do y equals and 20, but because of 20 is a number, it already looks at that as it already applies, hey, listen, the type is int, so just it inherently does that, um, or automatically does that. And then z, you see a full, like, okay, z int 30, and then go from there. And then even like d, I see that does kind of a little bit new to me in terms of how you're doing that. For D and then D and then comma E equals 40, and then hello. But what you're doing right there is actually you're defining two variables and then what they're assigned to and their assignments as well. So those are actually two separate variables. So I thought that was pretty cool too. But yeah, and then even with a string, like for instance, if a variable is a string right off the bat, like for instance, you say var x string equals, right, or var x string, right? That is saying its default value at that point is double quotes. And I think there's a use or no use in using single quotes. So I thought like things like that are really cool in terms of like understanding and learning the language a little bit. So let's go back to full screen here. Um, but yeah, I'll get into this Go formatter stuff a little bit later. I'm learning more about this. I kind of want to see how that worked, but I'm running not out of energy, but I really want to relax a little bit before I have to go to bed. I got to let the dogs out and stuff too. But hey, guys, thank you for joining me on this initial stream where we're just going over some code stuff and what I've been learning. Go ahead and pick up this book or get your copy of it, however you wish to. But I think this is good. But even actually, more importantly, or a cheaper resource, if you guys scroll up in in the comments here on this. Oh, shit. Um, I'll have to put it in the description. What I noticed is that one of the reasons why I have the chat where it is now is because it doesn't include the chat on YouTube, from what I've seen. Like I've seen on my other playbacks, although I can see, interact with you guys and everything else, I saw on the last live that I did, I couldn't get to my chats, which is weird. Oh, wait. Don't listen to me. All right, so if you go up in the chat, you'll see the links. Yeah, you'll see the links. Awesome. Maybe it just took a while to process or something like that after the stream, but I noticed immediately after the stream it was just not there. So I thought that was a bit of bullshit. But okay, it is there. I just checked the last stream I did with Freeman's Journal last week, so that was also a fire stream. And go ahead and check out Freeman's Journal, another brother in tech, also in real estate, and he was going through his AWS certifications. You can go and check out the video that we did together, so you can check, so you can see some of the things that he revealed about using AWS Connect, which is AWS's what's it called? AWS's PBX or telephony product. But yeah, Jay Charles, man, hey, let's see what you got here, man. Appreciate you. Jay Charles, bro, your display of productivity over the years gives me so much motivation. Thanks, bro. Hey, man, thanks to you, bro. Dave Towel heading to bed. Yeah, me too, bro. Yeah, I appreciate that, Jay Charles. I really do appreciate that, bro. All right, Dave Towel, peace. Jay Charles, peace. Hey, man, thank you guys so much. And like, I really do appreciate you all. I really do appreciate you all, like, coming and, what's it called? Joining me here with all of this and learning things. Go Grizzly. Go Grizzly. Um, yeah, I really do appreciate you all in terms of watching videos and things like that, giving me feedback on the stream, production, and everything else like that. And also just knowing that, hey, listen, I'm in the right direction. My biggest thing is to motivate other people so you guys can actually start doing this yourself. We always talk about, a lot of people always talk about self improvement and how this space and other people are not doing that. When we've been doing it all along, it's just nobody wants to listen to us. And that's fine. And that's fine because at the end of the day, it's not really everybody can't enjoy or get in on some of the things that we do. So I think it's one of those things where it's like, hey, the ones that want to listen, that want to be a part of this, will be a part of this. And those are the ones that I'm focusing on. Those are the ones that I'm working with. Those are the ones I'm fellowshipping with. Those are the ones I'm helping along. Whoever wants to reach out, I'm always here to help. I always put my hand out to help. But at the end of the day, I expect you all to move forward and execute on your dreams. They're not my dreams. I'm living parts of my dreams in my own reality, and I believe that's definitely something that we all should strive for. We trying to get in the tech field and increase our income for sure, man. Like, you know, um, doing things to increase your income to sustain that income. I mean, it's a trajectory changer. Some of the things that you can do, especially in tech, especially with remote work, and the ability and the freedom that it gives you in terms of time freedom. Using something that Ed always talks about, but getting that time freedom so you can actually do more for those around you and especially for yourself, more importantly. Alrighty, with that being said, talk to you all later. Appreciate you so much. Wish you guys all the best. And yeah, you guys can go ahead and check out some of the links. And I think I'm gonna do some YouTube work here in a second. But you guys can go ahead and check out some of the links that I'm gonna have that are in the chat, and then also that will be in the description as well. All right, talk to you later. Peace.